girl called GB ASMR who made a gaming store ASMR, and it really got me interested in playing Kingdom Hearts. I just need to also buy a PlayStation.
Yeah, I think I'm all set now. Square Enix, the company that makes incredible JRPGs and apparently can't seem to be able to do anything else. Anyone who knows what this logo is definitely knows about possibly its most popular series other than Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. Heck, even if you aren't familiar with Square Enix, you probably know what Kingdom Hearts is. It's famous for bringing Western and Eastern audiences together in a common breeding ground by bringing together Square Enix's and Disney's most popular IPs together. It's also infamous for having quite possibly the worst narrative in any video game ever made. I cannot stress enough just how much of a punchline Kingdom Hearts is. So, how about that Kingdom Hearts? Anytime anything even remotely confusing comes up, people will crack jokes about how it's like the Kingdom Hearts storyline. People who have never played Kingdom Hearts will joke about how confusing Kingdom Hearts is because it's just so well known that the story is an utter train wreck. So why am I talking about it now? Why am I repeating what everyone else has already said? Well, first off, let's hope I'm doing a little bit more than just repeating what everyone else has said. But there's two main reasons for this video being made. First off, fans of the series will tell you that the story is a staple. Okay, sure. And even if you ignore the fans that say this, Kingdom Hearts itself likes to say that the story is a selling point. The story is not over. New HD cinematics revealing a story untold. 3 incredible stories. 1 unforgettable adventure. Yeah, I can confirm this is definitely a story you will not be forgetting. Many fans will argue that the story is not bad once you spend time with it. Well, I have spent time with it. I played through the whole dang series twice, and I can still say the story is bad. Like, really bad. I remember while browsing around my recommended videos, I saw a video about how the Kingdom Hearts story is not that confusing, and the video was 3.5 hours long. Someone was able to summarize every single Marvel movie up until Infinity War in 20 minutes, and as someone who wasn't that invested in the Marvel universe at the time, I didn't feel confused once while watching it. That's about 18 movies in 20 minutes, all concisely recapped. Meanwhile, this person isn't able to concisely summarize 10 games into 3 hours. Yeah, it's so not confusing that you were only able to compact it in a video that puts most feature-length films to shame. It took less time for the Titanic to sink. Just think about that. I've heard arguments that the story is fine as long as you look at the other pieces of media about it. Look, I shouldn't have to go out of my way to read a whole series of novels for the story of a video game series to just simply make sense. Novels should add on to more of it, not just make it coherent. You should still have a cohesive narrative in a game, whether you read the manga or not. It shouldn't be required to own every single piece of merchandise of a franchise in order to understand the overarching story of said series. Secondly, and the more main reason I'm making this video, there's been a rumor floating around that Tetsuya Nomura, the creator of the series, wants to reel back the Disney aspect of the series. Apparently he doesn't want any new Disney properties added and just wants to focus on the story. Now at first, I dismissed it immediately because it sounds like such an incredibly stupid idea. However, when the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 dropped, I couldn't help but notice there was a distinct lack of Disney in it, and I'm starting to get nervous that the rumor might actually be true. I really hope that it's not, but just to be sure, I'm going to give a lengthy explanation on why I think that is a horrible idea. Please allow me to clarify a few things before we get started though. I didn't look into any Kingdom Hearts wikis or fan pages or anything like that. I want to know the story of Kingdom Hearts through Kingdom Hearts itself. If this series has a good story, you should understand it perfectly fine from the source material alone, not from fans explaining it to you. The fan community should be a little extra you can do on the side. Also, because of this, I have no idea what the general consensus is from the Kingdom Hearts community on any given title. This is all my own interpretation, so if anyone wants to say that I'm just saying whatever so I don't get hate from the community, no, I'm not. Plus, I've already doomed myself for putting the words hate and Kingdom Hearts together in the same sentence. I'm already expecting a very high dislike ratio, even if that isn't public view anymore. Lastly, this is a critique of the story of the series, not the gameplay. I know people like to say that Kingdom Hearts is just terrible in every aspect, but I do not agree. In fact, more often than not, the games that I was the harshest towards for the story, I enjoyed playing the most for their gameplay. There's a reason I was willing to play through the entire series, then play it again just so I could get the footage to make this video. It's a series you should check out if it looks intriguing to you, just don't play it for the story. Actually, you know what? No. If you are interested in writing and world building, I actually recommend this just so that you know what you should never do when creating lore for a series. We are going to analyze each game in order of release date, not chronological order. If a series is done well, then you should still understand what is going on by the order of when they came out. That's how the first fans of a series experience it after all. So we will begin everything with the very original Kingdom Hearts. When I first started the Kingdom Hearts series, I kind of went into it with the mindset that it was going to be bad, so my first impressions of the game were extremely critical. But now that I'm coming back and playing it another time, man, I was way too hard on this game. I had it easy back then, man. They hadn't even tried touching theoretical quantum physics at this point yet. I don't have too much to complain about for the story in the very first game. It's gotta be the best in the series for its story. But there are tropes that appear in this game that just come into play for the entire series, so I guess it is worth pointing out now. First of all, everyone overreacts to everything. The way everyone is animated is so over the top, so unnatural. I think I might prefer if they just moved very minimally, because then you can focus more on what they're actually saying. Instead, I can't help but get distracted by how they dance around when they talk. Come on, guys, we need to go now to drive back the darkness. Second of all, there will be plot points that come out of nowhere, and then just as quickly as they're brought up, they will be dropped. For example, when you start the Tarzan world, Sora and Donald will just suddenly break out into an argument that causes them to crash in Tarzan's world. It hasn't been established before that Sora and Donald have personalities that clash with each other and make it hard for them to get along. It just suddenly appears, it's forgotten about, and then dropped as soon as you beat the level. When conflicts come and go so quickly, you can't help but ask, was that really necessary for the story? And lastly,
Darkness.
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 yeah, words don't sound like words anymore. If you want the words darkness, heart, friends, memories, and light to sound weird for the rest of your life, then this is the series for you. So I was actually going to have a joke here where I would say take a shot every time someone says darkness in Kingdom Hearts, but don't actually do that. In only the first game, they say the word darkness around 44 or 45 times. And I don't want to know what might happen if you took about 45 shots in one sitting, so please do not play a drinking game with Kingdom Hearts. It's actually lethal. Alright, so as far as what specifically happens in the first Kingdom Hearts games, there's 3 kids, Sora, Riku, and Kairi. The 3 of them are tired of living on the same life on such a small island, so they want to build a raft to take them away and see what's out there. In some dialogue, they talk about how Kairi came from somewhere else, but was so little that she doesn't remember anything before living on the island with them, so they are certain that there are other places to explore out there. Then the day that the raft they were building is finished, strange things start to happen, and these mysterious dark creatures start appearing on the island. Sora tries fighting them off, but finds that his attacks are useless until a magical weapon materializes in Sora's hands, and he finds out now that he can slay these dark creatures with this weapon. Riku disappears into a dark vortex, and Kairi mysteriously vanishes. Then the entire island falls into darkness, and Sora wakes up in another world, a place called Traverse Town. There he finds out more about these creatures and the weapon he was given. The dark creatures are called Heartless. People who are overtaken by darkness become heartless, and the weapon that Sora has, the Keyblade, is the only thing that can stop the Heartless. And Sora was chosen by the Keyblade to wield it. So, Sora is a chosen one hero, keep that in mind. Shortly afterwards, he finds Donald and Goofy, where in this version of them, they come from a Disney kingdom where Donald is a mage, Goofy is a knight, and Mickey is the king of that world. Mickey went missing, and he left a note for Donald and Goofy saying if they want to find him, to follow the person with the key, which is the Keyblade that Sora has. Sora, Donald, and Goofy team up so they can find the people in their lives that went missing. Sora's looking for his friends, and Donald and Goofy are looking for their king. From here on out is where you travel from Disney World to Disney World looking for any clues to where your friends went. During this time, you see various Disney villains conspiring together to plunge Disney worlds into darkness and spread the Heartless everywhere. You'll come across Disney princesses and villains will capture them. It turns out that the Disney princesses are 7 people whose hearts are so pure they can't be overtaken by darkness. The Disney villains are trying to capture the princesses so they can use their purity to open the way to, get this, Kingdom Hearts. Whoa. Pretty early on, you actually find Riku, but he doesn't seem interested in rejoining with you because, well, I think I'll just let this high-quality cutscene explain it.
Thora, you've been hanging out with other friends and stuff, so you just, don't care about me anymore, or something? Hey, Donald, would you say you have a butt quack?
You guys suck. Yeah, Sora, how dare you have other friends? I'm the only person you should ever hang out with. All other people, they only ever have one friend in their whole life. Sorry, that's just a trope I cannot stand, and I personally think it shows up way too much. While I think the reason Riku moved to the dark side is stupid, I do have to give some credit to his character. You can tell he wants to do the right thing. He's skeptical of the advice that the villains give him, but he sticks with them because he really wants to help out Kairi. About halfway through the game, Kairi is found, but she's completely unresponsive. She won't talk, respond, or react to anything. She's in a vegetative state. Riku goes along with the villains out of desperation to help Kairi, and Maleficent keeps manipulating Riku that Sora won't help him out because he doesn't care. You'll also hear all throughout the game about a man named Ansem. He studies the darkness and the Heartless, and throughout the game, you'll discover more and more of his report on them. When you read the reports, you understand more about the Heartless and how Ansem wants to know more about them, and becoming so desperate that he, quote, plunges himself into darkness. At the end of the game, everyone comes together at a mysterious castle called Hollow Bastion. You find out that the villains have all the princesses of heart except for the last one. You murder Maleficent. No, that is not a joke. Riku becomes overtaken by darkness after a cloaked figure we saw back on the island asks to take over his body to give him further power. After you defeat him, you find out Kairi turned out to be the last princess of heart, but in order to protect herself from the beginning of the game, she planted her heart inside of Sora. Yeah, remember how in the beginning she flew towards Sora and then just vanished? She actually vanished inside of Sora and has been with him the entire time. In order to free Kairi, Sora uses his Keyblade to unlock his heart and let Kairi's out. However, this turns him into a Heartless, but Kairi uses some magical princess power to bring him back. At last, you go to the very end where you face off against the man that took over Riku, Ansem. The guy you've only heard about through stories and these strange reports you find on your journey now shows himself. It turns out he was behind this the whole time and wants to open Kingdom Hearts to unleash darkness on everything because he believes that Kingdom Hearts is filled with darkness. After you defeat Ansem, the door to Kingdom Hearts opens and light floods out instead of darkness, defeating Ansem once and for all. You find Riku and King Mickey on the other side of the door. Mickey prompts Sora to seal away the door to Kingdom Hearts for good, using Sora's Keyblade and an inverted Keyblade that Mickey got from the other side. Ooh. The game ends with Sora sealing the door and losing Kairi and Riku again, but leaves with the hope that he will find them eventually. Now, I know a lot of you want to roll your eyes at some of these plot points, and I did too when I first played it, but I need to give it credit. Everything throughout the game and the Disney worlds you visit leads towards the ending, rather than forgetting about the plot during the Disney worlds and then everything is revealed at the very end. Characters actually have motives for what they're doing, even if some of them are kinda dumb. Some people say that the Disney world parts feel like self-insert fanfiction, but don't tell me you never at any point in your life came up with little scenarios where you inserted yourself into a Disney movie and interacted with the characters. That's kind of what Sora entering the Disney worlds feel like. I find it very fun, and it captures that wonder as a child of you meeting your favorite Disney characters. But at the end of the day, it's a story about a young boy who finds out he has a bigger destiny ahead of him to save the world, or in this case, worlds. He holds a power that others around him don't, making him the only one who can take on this task. He's betrayed by the one close to him, but in spite of opposition, endures so that he can stop the evil that threatens everyone. Plus, it makes sense. Or mostly. Out of all the Kingdom Hearts games, this is the only one where I actually feel like they had a plan from start to finish. It's a simple hero's journey, using the Disney property to tie everything together. This is the last time we will ever have anything that feels structured in the Kingdom Hearts series. From here, things just start to drop, and they drop fast. Up next, we will be taking a look at Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was released on the Game Boy Advance roughly 2 years after the original Kingdom Hearts. At this point, Kingdom Hearts 2 has already been announced, and considering the fact that this was a game released on a different style of console, you would have thought back then that this was nothing more than a way to get Kingdom Hearts onto a handheld for people who didn't own a PlayStation 2. True or false? The answer is C, all of the above. There's something you need to know about the Kingdom Hearts series. There is no such thing as a spin-off. Every game that was ever released for the series is mandatory to understanding the story. You can't skip anything, so every game is a main series game. With this game, however, it uses the same worlds you visited in the first Kingdom Hearts game, and the events that happen in those Disney worlds themselves are pretty similar to what happens to them in the original game. In this sense, it's a dumbed-down version of Kingdom Hearts 1 to fit on a Game Boy as a little recap for those who have a Game Boy but not a PS2, except everything outside the Disney worlds is a completely new story that takes place after the first Kingdom Hearts game. So, if this is a recap, you have to have played the original for the recap to make sense. What is the purpose to a recap then? The game starts immediately right after the first one ended. It shows Sora, Donald, and Goofy wandering the field they were in at the end of the first Kingdom Hearts. Well, you know, the best that the Game Boy Advance could anyway. Then, during the night, Sora starts following an ominous cloaked figure. Our gang winds up at a large mysterious castle. When they enter, they no longer can leave. They find the cloaked figure again, and he gives Sora some cards. These cards are used to open doors throughout the castle, and each time you use a card, you revisit a world from Kingdom Hearts 1. Throughout the Kingdom Hearts series, whenever you save the game, it's portrayed as Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio writing down everything that's happened in his journal. And as the team progresses through the castle, they start to have more hazy memory. Jiminy suggests that they just read his journal to recollect what they forgot about, but the journal is somehow completely blank. Then it turns out the cloaked figure is actually many cloaked figures. They are all part of an evil group called the Organization. We'll hear more about them later. As the game keeps continuing through the castle, Sora starts to have memories of a blonde-haired girl named Naminé. He claims that she was a long friend of him and Riku, and she's trapped here in the castle. Now, no, Naminé is not a character that was even hinted at in the previous games, but just hold on for a little bit. Around now is one of the biggest problems of the game arise. You see, this game starts to use terms and talks about events as if you should already know about them, but not once in the previous game, or even this one, are they ever explained. For instance, we see that the organization start talking to Naminé about how she's a nobody, and nobodies can't be somebodies. At first, you think they're just talking down to her in order to get her to do what they want. Now that is true, but there's more to it. Throughout the game, they use the term nobody more and more until you realize that there's something you're missing, but they never elaborate on what they mean when they say nobody. At another point, Sora, Donald, and Goofy talk about how they sealed away the door to darkness. Again, this isn't something you should know about yet. All of this will be properly explained in Kingdom Hearts 2, but when this came out, Kingdom Hearts 2 still had another year before it was released. There was no way for anyone to properly understand the lore to this game. You need to play Kingdom Hearts 2 in order to get a proper explanation of things so that you can play this game, but Kingdom Hearts 2 won't make any sense unless you play this game. Kingdom Hearts literally caused a paradox within its own franchise. There is literally no possible way to experience Kingdom Hearts without being completely confused about the lore at some point. Continuing on, Sora has more and more memories return to him about Naminé and wants to rescue her from the castle more and more. They eventually find Riku in the castle and... he's still just as charming as ever. You may say that this sounds like a crappy self-insert fan character type of story. Well, actually it's supposed to. You see, Naminé isn't real. I mean, she exists, but the memories Sora has about her are false. The organization is using her to plant fake memories inside of Sora to make him believe in a false reality. Then, once Sora is filled completely with fond memories of this girl he's never met, she's supposed to take them out, leaving Sora with absolutely nothing, leaving him with no memories at all, and then the organization can do whatever they want with him. And the Riku that we saw, that Riku isn't real either. That is a replica that the organization members created to fill with memories of Naminé to convince Sora even further that Naminé is real. Essentially, they create a copy of Riku to gaslight Sora. I do have to give credit where it's due. As you continue further and further into the castle, Sora starts to become disturbingly obsessed with Naminé, and when you learn what's going on, it really becomes off-putting that it's actually working. Naminé, however, does not like what she's doing to Sora. She feels guilty for it, but can't really do anything to speak out against the organization. There is one member of the organization named Axel, though. He backstabs the organization and encourages Naminé to not carry out the plan. She goes against the organization due to Axel's advice, and Sora slays all the organization members that he comes across in the castle, except for Axel, of course. Naminé confesses what she's been doing to Sora and offers to repair Sora's memories properly, but in order to do that, it will take a long time. He will need to be put into a deep sleep until everything is fixed, plus he will forget about everything that has ever happened in this castle. It'll be as if he never came here at all. Sora agrees, but before he's put to sleep, he tells Naminé that he wants to become friends with her for real once he wakes up and thank her for all she's done to betray the organization for him. Jiminy says he'll make a memento in his journal to thank Naminé. Then Sora's put to sleep and the game ends. Or does it? Once you beat the game, you actually unlock another story about Riku, so now you have another story to play through. You know, in case you actually wanted to play more of this game. Okay, I'm sorry, I know I said I wouldn't talk about any of the gameplay elements in Kingdom Hearts, but man, don't play this one. Out of all the Kingdom Hearts games, this is the only game that I absolutely refuse to ever touch again. So how are you watching footage from the game right now? Well, I kind of borrowed footage from a YouTube channel called Long Play Archive, who actually played through the entirety of this frustrating dung heap. You see, kids, not all heroes wear capes. Superheroes may have super strength or super speed, but our real heroes have super patience. Anyway, Riku also ends up at the castle somehow and needs to escape as well. However, when Riku goes through the Disney worlds, there is no one there, so there isn't any cutscenes with the Disney worlds. This makes Riku's story a lot shorter than Sora's. Throughout his journey, Riku expresses regret for allowing himself to be manipulated by the villains and succumb to darkness. Because of this, he now has darkness lingering within him at all times, because he allowed it to enter in the first game, which is portrayed with Ansem showing up every now and then to torment Riku, which Riku knows it's Ansem because of the way he smells? Yeah, in this game, it's established that darkness and light have like some distinct smell that Riku uses to identify who's good and who's evil, as if it's blood or a scented candle. Ah, yes, the darkness scented candle, a personal favorite of mine. I think they realize how stupid of a concept this is, because after this game, it's never used again. As Riku goes through the castle, Mickey appears to help him, as well as another mysterious figure called Diz. Riku knows that Diz is not evil because, again, of his scent. Riku comes across members of the organization, which he mercilessly slaughters, including the fake replica of himself. At the end of his journey, Riku comes across Ansem, who's been tormenting him, and says that he's going to end him because he really stinks. Did nobody at any point mention how absolutely ridiculous this story element was? It makes so much of the dialogue so awkward. Then, once Ansem is taken care of, Riku finds Naminé, who has started the process of restoring Sora's memories. She explains to him what happened with Sora and also says that she can do the same for Riku, so that it would be as if he never allowed Ansem to take control of him. Riku refuses, finally allowing himself to accept what has happened. It ends with Riku stating how he knows that Naminé is connected to Kairi. You knew? I knew as soon as I met you. You smell the same? You're just going to walk away? Makes a comment about a girl's smell, leaves. You smell nice. Now, after being teased in 2003, it's finally time to play the long-awaited game in 2005, Kingdom Hearts 2. People were very hyped for this game, but I wonder how many of them actually knew what they were getting into. Kingdom Hearts didn't have a reputation at this point, and I can't help but wonder how many Kingdom Hearts fans at the time actually had a Game Boy Advance that could have played Chain of Memories. The opening cinematic shows the events of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories, but if you hadn't played Chain of Memories, you probably would have thought that these events are going to happen in this game, but it never does. I cannot imagine how many kids got this game and just were so utterly confused by it. They probably asked for it for Christmas because they loved the first one so much, turned it on, and then were like, wait, who the heck is this kid? So this journey does not begin with Sora, but with another character called Roxas. He lives in a place called Twilight Town with 3 of his friends, Hayner, Pence, and Olette. Now, Kingdom Hearts has always had really bad dialogue, but oh my word, Kingdom Hearts 2 takes it to a whole new level. I do not know how the voice actors for this game were able to say the lines that they were given without cracking up in the middle of it.
That was undeniable proof that we totally owned you, lamers.
Was there less of a budget on this game? Maybe they used up so much of their budget to crank out Chain of Memories a year before this one that they had to limit how much time they could spend on the writing and voice acting in this game? Am I being too harsh here? Well, how about you decide for yourself as we look at the scene where Roxas is with his friends that I promise I did not edit.
Oh no! They're gone! Are gone!
All are gone?
Huh?
You can't say, why not?
No one is missing anything inappropriate. What has happened is that someone stole the photos from their camera and somehow also managed to steal the word photo as well. So when they try to say it, nothing comes out. Who thought this was a good idea? Having characters suddenly pause in the middle of their sentence is so awkward. The fact that they can't say the word photo is not even integral to the story. Just have the thief steal the pictures and leave it at that. It could have been removed and nothing would have changed. This happens so much in Kingdom Hearts. Things will just suddenly happen and then go away for absolutely no reason. Was that important? Why was that even here in the first place? The beginning of this game centers around this new character you haven't met yet, and that alone is not a bad thing, but I think I can complain about how mundane the opening is. You have to play as Roxas doing such mundane tasks. In the first game, if you knew what you were doing, it'd take about 30 minutes to get going, but here, even if you know what you have to do, you have to spend about 2 hours in this opening alone, which makes it feel way longer than it actually is. I know why they're doing this. They want to explain the mechanics of this new game for people who haven't played the series, but it's a little counterintuitive because if you haven't played any game in the series yet, you're just going to be like, what is happening? In the first Kingdom Hearts game, you are fighting off the Heartless, the hearts of people that have been corrupted by darkness. This game now wants to establish that there is another half. When a person's heart leaves their body, they leave behind an empty shell, and that empty shell is called a nobody. I just want to point out real quick that the corrupted heart that has no body is called the Heartless, and the body, which has no heart, of which is heartless, is called a nobody. Aside from that, I think it's a good concept, but why wasn't it explained in Chain of Memories when it was first referred to? So only now that you are on this new game do you realize that the organization from Chain of Memories are people who have lost their hearts to darkness. Later in the game, you meet the other members of the organization and their leader Xemnas, who is the nobody of Ansem. Back to Roxas, Roxas is the nobody of Sora, but unlike the nobodies in the organization, Roxas has his own person. The others are still the same person from before they became nobodies, but when Sora became a nobody, he completed an entire new person in the process. That I can accept, because Sora is the chosen one hero after all. I can believe that he could possess a power like that, but suspension of disbelief can only get you so far. Do you remember in Chain of Memories that they called Naminé a nobody? Who is she the nobody of? Well, she's the nobody of Kairi, but hold on. In the first Kingdom Hearts game, they have been lugging around Kairi's lifeless body until her heart was returned. Isn't that her nobody? Assuming that I read the collectible reports of this game correctly, I think this is how it worked. Kairi's heart was put into Sora in the first game, so at the time she was occupying Sora's body, and when Sora unlocked his heart to release Kairi's heart, he also created a nobody from releasing Kairi's heart from his body. But does that make Naminé also Sora's nobody? No, because Roxas is Sora's nobody. But then how can Naminé be the nobody of Kairi if no part of Kairi's body is part of hers? Here's another thing you should know about Kingdom Hearts. Don't ask questions. Ever. When I invest time in other series with an overarching story, I will look back on games after finishing them and notice things I hadn't before, and it adds to the overall lore. It's like I'm being rewarded for going back and doing my homework. When I do that with Kingdom Hearts, however, I feel like I'm punished. I find contradictions that aren't addressed or clarified. It's almost like I shouldn't have invested in Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts demands that I be invested. Not only do you have to play every single game in the series to know what's going on, but they will talk about very specific details they expect you to notice. For example, in the Mulan world, everyone talks to Mushu as if we've seen him before. He wasn't in any cutscene from Kingdom Hearts 1, but he was a summonable character to help you out in battle. But even then, it's optional. But no, Kingdom Hearts expects you to know everything about it, just not the parts that contradict itself. Another thing about Roxas is that he used to work for the organization. Remember Axel from Chain of Memories? Well, him and Roxas became best friends while he was in the organization, but Roxas left the organization and Axel wants him back desperately. Xemnas, the leader of the organization, called Organization 13, gathered together these people who had lost their hearts and didn't know what to make of themselves or how to continue forward, and Xemnas makes a false promise to them that he can recomplete them if he serves him in the organization. A thing to know about the nobodies is that since they lost their heart, they can't really feel anything anymore. The promise to finally have that ability to feel again motivates them to stay loyal to Xemnas in the organization, but Roxas has his own person. He has a heart of his own, so that promise doesn't really work on him. Axel says that Roxas made him feel like he had a heart, and that's why he became close friends with him. But now let's talk about Xemnas. He's the nobody of Ansem, except this isn't Ansem. You come across King Mickey, who explains that the Ansem you defeated in the first game was not Ansem, but an apprentice of him who just told people that he was Ansem. His real name was Xehanort, so Ansem from the first game is really just Xehanort's Heartless. But why though? Why wouldn't he just use his regular name instead of telling everyone that he was actually someone else? In the answer reports in the first games, they very heavily suggest that the person you fight is Ansem, and that he was a scholar who got too wrapped up in his work that he eventually went too far and became the bad guy. But now it's just like, nope, that's wrong, this is what actually happened. Yeah, let's get invested in this series that's totally ready to just recon whatever they feel like because it makes the story quote unquote more interesting. Speaking of which, Xemnas, the nobody of Ansem, or excuse me, Xehanort, uses the promise that he can recomplete the members of the organization by using the power of Kingdom Hearts. Oh, that door we sealed away in the first game? No, that wasn't actually Kingdom Hearts, that's the door to darkness. In the same cutscene that you learned that Ansem wasn't actually Ansem, you learned that Kingdom Hearts wasn't actually Kingdom Hearts. The door to darkness is a portal that links the realm of light to the realm of darkness. The actual Kingdom Hearts is this, a heart-shaped moon where the hearts of people go once they are freed by the Keyblade from the Heartless. Apparently, summoning it can grant the user endless power or something. Throughout the game, Xemnas uses Sora to slay Heartless so that hearts will be released to fill up Kingdom Hearts, but Xemnas only has control over nobodies, so where do the Heartless come from? Well, that's where Maleficent comes in. Oh, did you think that we killed her in the first game? I mean, we did. Sora even brags about it to her underling Pete when he's looking for her in this game. I do like the use of Pete as a controller of darkness though, it does match his original Disney character. Anyway, they bring Maleficent back by having her cloak brought to the three fairies, and they just think about her, and that makes her return? No, they never explain how it worked, it just does. I'd like to highlight something that happens when you visit the Lion King world in this game. Simba asks Sora,
"Do you think your quest will ever be over?"
No! No, it won't. It will never end. If they're willing to take major plot elements from previous games and completely throw them out the window to do whatever they feel like, then they will just keep doing that to keep the story going. Literally, anything can happen in this game. With Maleficent back now having Pete as a sidekick, they basically become comedic relief villains whose only purpose is to summon Heartless and distract you once in a while from the real villains of the series. In the first game, they integrate the villains from each of the Disney movies in with the story, and it feels like there's more of a role that the Disney worlds play in the plot. Now it's just chasing down bad guys by running through Disney worlds. I do still like visiting the Disney worlds, don't get me wrong. I just wish they put as much thought into them actually being here as they did in the first game. The Disney worlds are what give Kingdom Hearts its charm. Ugh, there's one part to this game that absolutely pisses me off to no end. If you know anything about Kingdom Hearts 2, you probably know what I'm talking about. Goofy's death scene. Once you start to finish off the remaining Organization 13 members, there's a scene where a giant boulder is launched in the air and starts making its way towards Mickey. When Goofy notices, this happens.
Look out! Wow!
What? Are you laughing? Are you laughing at the fact that this man just gave up his own life and you're laughing at that? Well, yeah, I am laughing. That was freaking hilarious. That was genius comedic timing, but it's played like Goofy really is dead. But you know he isn't, and it doesn't even last 10 minutes. The next cutscene, I'm not exaggerating, the very next cutscene, Goofy is fine, and he was just knocked out from getting hit in the head. Why was that there then? Why did you pretend to kill him off just to abandon it as quickly as it was brought up? I keep elaborating how Kingdom Hearts likes doing this, but the fact that they went so far as to pretend to kill off one of their main characters only to shift into reverse so fast it just... Maybe they were trying to go for the idea that if you lose someone that's close to you, you will still have the rest of the people around you who are willing to back you up. Because you do play a quick combat sequence where the characters you meet along the journey of these games come in and help you fight. But the symbolism kind of loses its merit when the one you just lost comes back right away. Nothing has any weight to it, does it? If you can just bring back any one of the heroes, why not just do it with one of the villains, right? So you defeat the rest of the villains and the game ends on a pretty conclusive ending. You defeat the two evils that exist and you save your friends that got lost in the first game. You've accomplished all you've set out to do. But of course, this is Kingdom Hearts we're talking about. So of course this isn't the end, is it? Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. No wait, that's not how you pronounce it. It's supposed to be read as 358 days over 2. Wow, what an awful title. This game is the story of Roxas. This gives so much more context to the character of Roxas and to many moments in Kingdom Hearts 2. In fact, you kind of need to play this before playing 2 for it to make sense. It's too bad it was released about 4 years after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, though. In this game, we see what life in Organization 13 was like. Roxas came to be with no memories or anything. He was effectively just born. Then, Xemnas comes in and recruits Roxas, saying he'll give him purpose and a new name. Here's where we see Sora's name appear and an X is added to it and then scramble to create the name Roxas. I think it's a cool way to portray how each member of the organization got their name. I also kind of like how this portrays Xemnas' control. Roxas can barely think for himself, so Xemnas swoops in and recruits him to the organization before he can ever really make a decision for himself. It's actually good storytelling for once, and honestly I have to say this game is not terrible in the story department. For one, it doesn't try as hard to build more lore to the entire series, but rather focuses on the life and thoughts of one character. Since Roxas is the nobody to Sora, Roxas can wield the Keyblade, and the Keyblade is the only thing that can free the hearts from the Heartless, so the organization needs him to slay Heartless to complete Kingdom Hearts for Kingdom Hearts 2. Roxas goes along with the organization's orders because he doesn't know any other kind of life. He hasn't existed for very long. While he works with the organization, he makes friends that he becomes very close with. It feels genuine, but I do need to complain about a couple of things. In the tutorials, they say that these Heartless don't actually have hearts in them and they're just physical manifestations of darkness. This is set up for gameplay purposes, as in some missions you complete, you need to collect a certain number of hearts in order to complete them, but it bugs me because this is the type of Heartless that Sora turned into in the first game. Secondly, they only ever hang out by sitting at the top of the clock tower eating ice cream. Literally every single day. Aren't you guys sick of that? You can do other things too, and... Stop biting your ice cream! I think it would make the friendship feel more real if they did other things than just the same thing every day. A new character that gets introduced is Xion. This is a new recruit to the organization shortly after Roxas as the 14th member, which I guess makes it Organization 14 now. Xion is a special kind of nobody. Remember how in Chain of Memories the organization was able to create a replica of Riku using memories of him? Well, Xion is a nobody that was created by making a replica of Sora using just the memories he has of Kairi. How many excuses can you write as to why another nobody has come from Sora? I can look past that though because, like I said, it's just a game about Roxas and his relationships with the people in Organization 13. Being the only one with a heart, he builds bonds with the other two members and really starts to connect with them as the game goes on, but the organization doesn't care about him or his feelings. They just need him to do one thing: use the Keyblade to collect hearts to complete Kingdom Hearts. Since Shion was created through Sora, she also can use the Keyblade. During the time that Roxas can't work, Shion takes on tasks for him. As time goes on though, Roxas having his own heart starts to interfere with the organization. He starts asking questions like, why is he in the organization? What is life like outside of the organization? Does he really not have a heart? Questions that start to interfere how he works in the organization. During this time, the events of the Chain of Memories happen, and Naminé needs to recomplete Sora. Now we have his nobody and a vessel that carries a bunch of his memories running around. Riku comes to take Roxas and Shion so that Sora can be complete again. Through this, Shion discovers what she is and decides to sacrifice herself so that Sora can be completed again.
No! Shion! Who else will I have ice cream with?
Once Shion is gone, Roxas has decided that he has had enough. Why could he wield the Keyblade? Because he's Sora's nobody. Why did the organization need him? Because he has a Keyblade which he got from Sora. Why did he lose one of his closest friends? Because Sora needed her to be completed again. He decides to find answers on his own about Sora. He decides to leave, but of course the organization does not like that. Once he forces his way out, Riku shows up one last time to fight Roxas so that once he's defeated, Sora can be whole again. But Roxas actually ends up beating Riku. Riku realizes he needs a different approach, so he taps into the darkness he allowed into himself in the first game and becomes Ansem. I guess. Now he beats Roxas and puts him in a digital world that we saw in Kingdom Hearts 2 and manipulates him that way to give himself up for Sora. After this game, you really start to feel bad for Roxas, and I think that's why I thought this game resonated a lot better with me than most of the others in the series. It's not often that Kingdom Hearts actually makes you feel something, but I really wish that the game didn't end the way it did. I think it would have shown a lot more of Roxas' character if he kept his memory and through a series of events and his own will decided to give himself up for Sora's sake. I also wish that this game had new Disney worlds in it. You just visit the same worlds from Kingdom Hearts 1 and a couple from Kingdom Hearts 2. Couldn't they have Roxas discover more about himself by visiting Disney worlds we haven't seen yet? Like, what if he visited Treasure Planet and met Jim and discovered that he doesn't have to be what people perceive him to be and instead can be his own person? I know that they were saving a lot of Disney worlds for future releases and a lot of Disney properties did not exist yet when this game came out in 2009, but here's a list of Disney properties that were available in 2009 that Kingdom Hearts to this day have not used. There's Treasure Planet, like I mentioned before, The Jungle Book, The Sword in the Stone still does not have a proper Disney World yet, Atlantis, Robin Hood, Bambi, Dumbo, The Aristocats, Lady and the Tramp, 101 Dalmatians didn't ever get a world either, The Rescuers, Pete's Dragon, Fox and the Hound, The Great Mouse Detective, Bolt. Heck, to this day, they haven't used any Disney television properties like DuckTales or Darkwing Duck or Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. This doesn't apply to this particular game since it came out after, but I am still waiting for a Gravity Falls world in Kingdom Hearts. Instead, you go through Hercules and Nightmare Before Christmas again, which up to this point have been in every single Kingdom Hearts game. But now we do have a full story. The first game where Sora realizes there's more worlds out there and a great evil exists that needs to be dealt with. A game where he gets a little sidetracked and also introduces another evil that needs to be taken care of. A game where he defeats that second evil, and a game that provides more context. So now we should be done. Except we aren't. If we ended here, Kingdom Hearts would probably still have a reputation for bad storytelling since it made some serious mistakes in its duration, but I don't know if it would have had the reputation of being the all-time worst and most confusing story if things ended here. But it didn't. If you were to ask me when I thought that Kingdom Hearts had crossed the point of no return, the point where any credibility the series had for its narrative was completely squandered, leading it to being a laughing stock for the gaming community, I'd give you an exact date. That date being January 9th, 2010, the day that Birth by Sleep hit store shelves. There is no possible way I could even dream of compiling everything that is wrong with this one into this video alone. It's honestly quite amazing. It's incredible just how much goes wrong here. And I knew from the very moment I looked at this game that there was going to be trouble, because you take one glance at it and you immediately think to yourself, why is Roxas here? Yeah, he looks exactly the same like he did before, and his voice is just, this is literally just Roxas again. Why is he here? I thought his story was over. Well, no. This isn't Roxas. This is a completely new, unrelated character named Ventus. And the game thinks that this is okay. Like, do I really need to do this? Do I really need to explain why it's not a good idea to have two characters look, sound, and behave exactly the same? How are we supposed to tell the difference between the two? Like, they didn't even change the hair color. They literally just copied and pasted Roxas's character model and said, look, it's new now. It's a new character, guys. It's not just that they look identical. These two are literally just the same person. They both have Jesse McCartney as the voice actor with no change in the performance. They are both boys who are lost, beginning with no memory, taken in to realize that they were taken advantage of and being held back by the people who are supposedly taking care of them, and both are connected to Sora. Listen to the theme for Roxas. Okay, now listen to the theme for Ventus. These two are literally the same person, but no, we're supposed to accept that they are separate and different. I get that they want to be symbolic by having two separate but similar characters going through similar arcs to give some sort of parallel story element to the series, but come on! Couldn't you at least make one of them look slightly different? When they designed Roxas, the person who is supposed to be the empty shell of Sora, they actually tried to make his design look unique, yet similar. Why try with one character but then just completely give up on the next one? You know how I said that Ventus is connected with Sora? Well, one of the main villains of this game is a boy called Vanitas. This is kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. Everyone has a good and evil inside of them, or, for the context of Kingdom Hearts, everyone has light and darkness inside of them. But Ventus had the entirety of his darkness extracted out of him, creating Vanitas. But now Ventus no longer has a complete heart because of that. So, he joined with Sora's heart to have a complete heart once more. Okay, how? No, forget the why. I don't care about why he joined with Sora specifically. I just want to know how he did it. Ventus never once came across Sora the entire game. He's never met Sora. He's never seen Sora. He doesn't even know that Sora exists. How exactly did he join hearts with Sora? What, was he just able to because he kind of looks like him? Is that the only explanation? At least when Kairi puts her hearts into Sora, they show her disappearing into Sora at the beginning. This game just says, this happened. Accept it. This is only the beginning. This game is an actual iceberg, and it only gets deeper. This game revolves around three main characters, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus. I'm honestly surprised they didn't create a Pyra character just to connect Kingdom Hearts with the Xenoblade. You know, I joke about that, but there's a good chance they would actually try to do it. I should not give them any ideas. These three are the students beneath two masters, Master Ericus and Master Xehanort. Wait, do you mean Xehanort as in... Hold on, just hold on, okay? We will get to that. But for now, let's focus on our three main heroes. Just look at them. It doesn't take a brainiac to realize that these three are parallels to the original trio from Kingdom Hearts 1. Ventus is Sora, Aqua is Kairi, and Terra is Riku. Now get this. All of them are Keyblade wielders. Yeah, remember how in Kingdom Hearts 1 the Keyblade was a special weapon? Only one existed and it chose who got to wield it. Well, in this game, they established that Keyblades are actually a common weapon that anyone can use. They're still magical, and you can only use it if you're given the ability to wield it. But do you want to know how you get the power to wield a Keyblade? You touch it. I'm dead serious. All you have to do in order to wield a Keyblade is you hold the handle, and now you have the ability to have a Keyblade of your own. Wait, so does that mean that Jack Sparrow is a Keyblade wielder since he held Sora's Keyblade when he asked for it in Kingdom Hearts 2? Also, does that mean that Mario is a Keyblade wielder in the Kingdom Hearts universe? Remember in Sora's Smash Bros. Reveal trailer, Mario picked up the Keyblade and threw it, so Mario can hold a Keyblade. It is canon by their own lore, and I will not allow them to forget that. So these three are Keyblade wielders, and all three of them want to be masters of the Keyblade. Ventus is not ready to take the test to be certified as a Keyblade master, but Terra and Aqua are. The game starts with both of them taking the Mark of Mastery exam. Now, you already know that these three are parallels to the characters in the first Kingdom Hearts, so it's no surprise that Terra, the parallel to Riku, has darkness within himself that he must control. During the Mark of Mastery exam, he accidentally allows a little bit of that power to come out, so at the end of the exam, Aqua passes and is deemed a Keyblade wielder, but Terra failed because he allowed power of darkness to come out during the exam. Can I chip in and say that I don't think it's a good reason to automatically fail Terra? Yeah, he allowed darkness to come out during the exam, but he suppressed it. He didn't allow it to give him an unfair advantage. Certainly, Master Ericus must know that this is something that Terra has had to struggle with his whole life, and rather than congratulating Terra for not allowing his darkness to take control during the exam, he condemns him for even having to struggle with it at all. And I just want to point out, Master Ericus announces this all with everyone around. He didn't talk about why Terra failed with him in private. He openly humiliates him in front of everyone else. I'm not a big fan of Master Ericus' character, in case you weren't aware. Which is funny because he's supposed to be the good master, while the guy who shares the same name with the established overarching villain is the evil master. Okay, yes, this is the same Xehanort as the Xehanort we saw in Kingdom Hearts 2. But now he looks like an old man. Not only that, but this game actually takes place about 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1 does. They use Disney worlds from old-time Disney movies, and you'll see some of the characters interact with Riku and Sora when they're both young boys.
This boy looks so sincere, just like Terra. And this one, he's a spitting image of Ven.
Whoa! Riku, check it out!
Whoa.
This game is cool.
So how exactly is Xehanort here as an old man if it's the past and in the future he's younger? It's all part of his master plan, you see. I do need to talk about a few more things before we can get into why he's younger in the future. So, shortly after the Mastery exam, Master Xehanort disappears and these mysterious dark creatures start to appear called the Heartless, the Unversed. They look just like Heartless, they behave similarly to the Heartless, and they fill the exact same role as Heartless, but they aren't Heartless. Terra and Aqua are instructed to go out and find Master Xehanort, while Ventus sees a mysterious boy in his room telling him that Terra will betray him. Now we all know that Terra is going to be the one who falls away since he's the one who has darkness inside of him, but I really don't think they wrote his character appropriately in this case. They keep saying that Terra is obsessed with power, and the urge to have it is where his darkness comes from, but honestly, I think Terra is too pure for that. He doesn't show any interest in having power. In fact, he tries his hardest to make peace. He acts super polite to those around him, and he always does what he thinks is the right thing. He barely even gets angry. After the exam, when he was publicly shamed for failing, he doesn't explode. He just tells his friend he needs some alone time. The only time he actually gets physically angry is when the people he cares about are in danger. Like, how is this the character who struggles with darkness by being obsessed with power? They try to justify this as each time you travel from Disney World to Disney World, they have him help the villains out in each of those worlds, but each time he is literally tricked into doing something bad. Like, once he realizes that what he's doing is helping the bad guys, he stops immediately and betrays the villains instead. They want him to have a corruption arc, but literally his character isn't written in a way that allows it. Let's go back to Riku in the first game. He also has a corruption arc. However, unlike Terra, you actually see Riku's behavior change. He starts as a friend of Sora, but slowly stops caring about Sora and then starts believing that darkness is a good thing and that he should be using darkness to save the world. Riku's way of thinking changes from when he's considered good and when he's considered bad. With Terra, he just has really bad luck through the entire game. People say he's stupid, but I don't think so. He's just put into situations where he just doesn't have many options and doesn't know what is going on, but then later, once he has enough context of what's happening, he realizes that he's helping the wrong side and then stops. He's just put into situations that make him look bad until near the end of the game where he just completely falls into darkness. It's so forced and it's completely unearned. If they wanted to keep Terra's character while making him fall to darkness, I honestly think they should have had his darkness originate from himself being self-critical rather rather than apparently being obsessed with power like the game says he is. Terra shows a huge amount of regret each time he screws up throughout the game. I think they should have played with him hating himself for accidentally helping the bad guys out until he feels so worthless because he can't do anything right that allows the darkness to consume him during that depressed state. That makes way more sense for his character than he turned to darkness for power or whatever. In the middle of the game, there's a point where all 3 playable character stories overlap and they all meet up together. The cutscene that plays when all 3 of them come together is so infuriating, and you have to go through it 3 times since you have to play through the whole game as each of the 3 main characters. This is where the 3 friends have a falling out, but it is so contrived. Aqua confronts Terra for helping the bad guys out in the Disney worlds. Normally, Terra admits his faults and apologizes and promises he'll do better, but in this one cutscene, he completely breaks character and gets defensive. He accuses Aqua of spying on him and tells her to leave him alone and then storms off. He's never acted like this throughout the entire game, but this one scene, they contradict his character just to make him look as bad as possible. Not only that, but Ventus accuses Aqua of taking advantage of her position of power and has let the title of Keyblade Master go to her head.
You're awful, Aqua.
What? No, she's not. She's showing genuine concern for her friend and just wants to make sure everything is all right. Let's talk about Ventus again. I already mentioned how he's just a rehash of Roxas, except Ventus is a total brat. Sora fights to save the world and protect his friends. Roxas leaves an organization to discover more about himself. Ventus whines. He whines and whines and whines.
Please, could you come over here? I just want to talk.
Don't fall for it! Stay where you are!
All right, then we'll do this the hard way.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If people don't trust you, bully them into submission. What a flawless plan. So Ventus leaves on the same journey as Aqua and Terra despite being told to stay home since he's not trained enough yet. Aqua spends a lot of her time hunting him down and telling him to go home since it's not safe for him. And Aqua never, even once, puts up a fight in getting Ventus to go back home. She's just like, Ven, go home. And Ventus is like, nah, I'm good. And then Aqua's like, well, shoot, I tried nothing and I'm out of ideas. Throughout the first half of the game, Ventus just keeps pestering Terra and Aqua to let him go with them, and when they both tell him no and to go back home since it's too dangerous for him, he's just like, but I wanna go. Right after the third act fallout between friends, Ventus catches up with Terra to talk with him and have a nice little chat, and it ends with Terra telling Ven that he's a good friend to him. So they end on good terms at least, but then, immediately after, Ventus goes to another Disney World and says this.
Wish somebody was looking out for me.
What? You do! You ended on good terms with them, but since they won't let you go with them since it's too dangerous, you're just going to disown them as friends? You're a brat. I'm sorry, but there's no other way of putting it. You are a straight up brat. So here's the overarching evil scheme that's been going on. Master Xehanort is actually the one who extracted the darkness from Ventus to create Vanitas. Vanitas then created the Unverse to create a havoc among all the Disney worlds so that Aqua and Terra would go out to take care of them, so that Ventus is unsupervised to go out and fight the Unverse so that he could build strength to fight Vanitas. Why does Master Xehanort want Ventus to fight Vanitas? Because doing so would create the Keyblade. No. Not the K-E-Y Keyblade, but the Greek letter Key blade. Master Xehanort explains how it's a special blade that will allow him to unlock Kingdom Hearts and, I don't know, let him have ultimate power or something. Like, we're really doing this again? We're really doing this again, aren't we? How are we supposed to know when you're talking about the normal K-E-Y blades and when we're supposed to be talking about the special Greek letter key blade when they sound exactly the same? The Keyblade was already supposed to be a special weapon that only one exists of, but no, that's gone and we have an even more special blade that only exists one of. Like, it's such a stupid name too. Okay, to avoid confusion from here on out, I'm going to refer to it as the Kai Blade because, after all...
Some say Kai, but the meaning is the same.
Yeah, they know it sounds similar and confusing, but they aren't going to do anything about it. Also, look at this weapon. That has got to be the most ineffective, uncomfortable looking weapon I have ever seen in a fantasy game. They also talk a lot about an ancient Keyblade war and how there was a war many years ago that killed many Keyblade wielders. I've played through this game twice and I'm really not getting the connection they're trying to make as to why this is relevant to Xehanort's plan. He doesn't really want to recreate this war or go back to change it or anything. He just talks about it a lot.
Keyblade, 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 Keyblade,
Keyblade.
Darkness, darkness, darkness.
Friend.
Darkness.
Darkness,
Darkness.
darkness, darkness, darkness,
At the end, all three come together in the Keyblade graveyard where the ancient Keyblade war first took place and faced off against Xehanort and Vanitas. Ventus ends up fighting Vanitas, the Keyblade is formed, but Aqua fights the merge of Ventus and Vanitas and destroys the Keyblade, but in doing so also destroys Ventus's heart. Terra fights Master Xehanort and taps into the darkness within himself to give him more power to defeat Xehanort, but since Terra allowed himself to submit to darkness, it lets Xehanort do this.
And now it is your darkness that shall be the ark that sustains me!
Yep, Xehanort possesses Terra. That's why he looks so young in Kingdom Hearts 2, because he possessed the body of a younger, stronger man so that he has a more capable body to carry out his schemes. So what we fought in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 was the heartless and nobody of Terra who was possessed by Xehanort. Beating all three stories in Birth by Sleep and collecting the secret Xehanort reports will unlock a final episode that you need to play through if you want to know what's happening for future Kingdom Hearts games. Ventus's heart is destroyed, so he is in a deep sleep he can't wake from. So Aqua takes him to a place where he can be safe while she figures out how to restore his heart. She puts him in the castle where the game first started, and Aqua turns it into Castle Oblivion from Chain of Memories, so no one will be able to get to Ventus. Aqua finds Terra, who has been possessed by Xehanort. She fights him to try and free Terra, but what ends up happening is she falls into the Dark World, and Terra's Xehanort loses his memory and is taken in with the apprentices of Ansem the Wise. Hey, look, it's the other members of Organization 13, but they're just normal people now. Whoa, so now Xehanort is going to use them to take control of darkness and turn himself into a heartless and nobody, and turn the others into nobodies as well to create Organization 13? But wait, he lost his memory, so none of this was actually part of the original plan that Xehanort had? This game is an absolute mess, an utter train wreck of storytelling. It's full of confusing lore, the dialogue is atrocious, the characters suck, and everything is so contrived. Trying to explain everything to you guys is extremely difficult, and I know I left a lot of things out, but you can go figure that stuff out for yourself if you are so intrigued. How do you recover from this? Like, how do you go from this absolute dumpster fire and try to tell a continuing story from that? I can't tell you how because I don't think there is a proper way, but I can tell you what they did end up doing, which is a little less than a year later, release. Let's turn the clock back a bit. Shortly after Kingdom Hearts 2, a port of Kingdom Hearts 1 was made for specific Japanese phones called Kingdom Hearts Coded. This was before smartphones took over the world, so it wasn't on the Apple Store or anything. No, it was released for this phone called the Docomo Prime Series P-01A. That name right there sounds like it could be a Kingdom Hearts title. Getting this particular phone is not exactly easy, plus even if I did get the phone and install the game onto it, it's entirely in Japanese, so I wouldn't be able to read anything. I don't even know how I would capture footage for it, so I never played Kingdom Hearts Coded. Instead, I played the re-release on Nintendo DS, Kingdom Hearts Recoded. I don't know if there's any major difference with the storytelling of these two versions, but this one is the one that we got, so it will be the one that we'll talk about. It's a DS port of a 2008 mobile game, and yeah, it definitely looks like it. But I'm not mad that this game exists. If Square Enix never made Recoded, there's a high chance that no one would have had a chance to experience this game. I'm glad that they archived this game by releasing it on the DS. However, what I am mad about is the fact that they decided to make this installment canon. Once Coded was ported to the DS as Recoded, it was officially cemented in the Kingdom Hearts timeline, making it an official main series game. As far as I know, the original Coded was created to show off what modern smell phones what modern cell phones could do back in the day. It wasn't supposed to be a groundbreaking must-play title. Its purpose was to give you something on your phone that you could play at any given moment. At that point, Coded was the one and only Kingdom Hearts spin-off. But now, that's no longer the case. Now you have to go through Recoded if you want to know the entirety of the story. It's actually funny, the opening to the game kind of makes a pretty good argument as for why it shouldn't exist.
So now we've taken 2 journeys. One to stop the darkness from spreading, and the other to put all the lost hearts back where they belong.
Yeah. So why exactly are we still here? Remember how I said that saving in Kingdom Hearts is explained by Jiminy Cricket writing everything down in his journal? Then in Chain of Memories, that journal got wiped to prevent them from recalling what happened? This game is all about restoring that journal that got wiped in Chain of Memories. That's the entire summary of this game. That's basically all you need to know for this game for the rest of the series. This one is easily the most pointless and skippable of the entire series. The only time that this game is ever mentioned again in the series are very brief side comments from characters. If you are thinking of going through the Kingdom Hearts series, I highly recommend skipping this one because if you try to follow it, you'll end up getting this.
Hey, what's going on? Jiminy's journal! I think it's gone completely nuts!
But it's a journal.
Gosh, maybe if we could get in there somehow and fix the data, we could figure out what's wrong.
But it's a journal.
Hey, that's it! We could look for somebody already in the journal and ask them to explore the world and repair the data!
It's a handwritten journal. Do you even know how data works? The entire game is filled with this data gibberish. It's not even worth trying to make any sense of it. How are you going into the journal entries that were written on paper and uncorrupting the data in it? Again, this was a port of Kingdom Hearts 1 to phones. It's another Kingdom Hearts 1 recap that you have to have played all previous games for the recap to make sense, which means you revisit a bunch of the exact same worlds you have already played through again and again and again and again. At this point, the Hercules world, the Olympus Coliseum, has been in every single Kingdom Hearts game. I love Disney's Hercules, but I don't love it enough to play the video game version of it 6 times. I will go to bed at night and hear in my sleep, da 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 da. How many times am I going to have to play through the same Disney worlds? I feel like I'm losing my freaking mind. But honestly, I'd still rather much play this than Chain of Memories. With Kingdom Hearts Recoded, there's 3 things you need to know. There's a virtual world of the first Kingdom Hearts game that exists. There's a digital Sora that was created to clear out the bugs in those worlds. No, it's not the Sora. This is a digital copy of Sora to go through the datascape of the leather-bound paper journal to debug it. Ugh, it's freaking Kingdom Hearts, man. Lastly, at the end, Sora meets up with Naminé and says,
"Oh yeah. I almost forgot. I have a message for you too. Thank you."
Whoa! For the 10th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, they finally released the most requested game that Kingdom Hearts has ever had. Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. Wait a minute. Is it called Kingdom Hearts 3D because it's on the 3DS? Or because when you take the first letter of each word in the title, you get 3 Ds? Huh. Now, as I've told you before, I have played through the entire series twice. Once just to experience it, and another to gather footage for this video. So I've experienced this particular game twice, and I still cannot make sense of anything that is going on. It's a game about how Sora and Riku are training to be Keyblade Masters by jumping into dreams, I think. How are they doing that? Are they asleep in another room? Okay, you know Elder Scrolls Oblivion? You know how in that game, whenever you go up and talk to someone, you will get the most nonsensical, unhinged conversation?
I've been better. I hope things get better. Bye. Goodbye. Oh, hello.
That's this game. This game is an Oblivion NPC.
Joshua, why don't they ever attack you?
They being Dream Eaters? They won't go after you unless you're a dreamer. Which is funny because I've got plenty of dreams.
What is anyone saying? Any kind of storytelling trope that would sabotage any blockbuster movie is used in this game. Diving into a dream world, alternate realities, cloning yourself, time travel. In this game, it's established that when the heartless and a nobody of a person are defeated, then they come back together to form that person they were before they split. So since we've defeated Ansem and Xemnas when Xehanort showed up near the beginning of the game, I thought it was Terra Xehanort because that's who he was before he split into a heartless and nobody, but no, it's young Xehanort from the past. He had to time travel to a dream world to mess with Sora and Riku. Not only do you see young Xehanort, but Ansem and Xemnas show up, who should be dead, but they aren't. Each time one of them shows up, they try to see Sora and Riku, but because of the light in their hearts, they don't allow them to get into their heads. But personally, I think they aren't being affected by them because literally nothing they're saying makes any freaking sense.
Hypocrite. You are the one who has made your heart a prison.
You again! What are you talking about?
Even if you are not the prisoner.
Huh?
So like, Xehanort, in order to pull his ultimate scheme, needs to duplicate himself, so he uses time travel so that he can bring in multiple versions of himself to carry out this plan. And they talk about when Kingdom Hearts was created or whatever, it made like 13 darknesses and 7 lights, which was Organization 13 and the 7 Princesses of Light. 13 darknesses and 7 lights. 13 and 7. Why those numbers? That's not balanced. Why is one side favored so much more? Oh, I know, because there's more darkness than light in the universe, and your friends can help you grow your heart to find your way through darkness, because even though darkness is dark, you can heart the darkness with your memory, so your friends use their light against the darkness, and darkness, 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 darkness. I am so tired right now. Is there any way that this story came to be without just making things up as you go? In many of the Kingdom Hearts games, there are secret endings that you can unlock if you meet certain requirements by the time you beat the game. I got these endings just to see if there was anything crucial I needed to know for the plot of this series, and lots of them reveal specific events in future games before they were released. So apparently, they did have all of this planned before, but am I really supposed to believe that when each game just expects me to forget specific things from previous games and just accept absolutely ludicrous plot points in the new ones? If this was planned, it was not planned thoroughly. Maybe they wrote a first draft for this and didn't make any edits to it whatsoever. With everything that this game series has done to me, I have to say, listening to people complain about movies now is honestly hilarious to me. Oh, you think this movie is bad because it's campy and lighthearted? Oh, you think this movie is bad because Luke throws his lightsaber behind him instead of to the side or whatever? Oh, you think this movie is bad because it doesn't reference 9/11?
When I first watched this movie, I really wished the priest had been a woman, but now I actually think there's symbolism in how he's an old dude. It could be that he represents the patriarchy sealing away the true power of these women so they can be more palatable to society.
Dude, I put hundreds of hours into a game series talking about how when you're overtaken by a dark force, you get split into 2 different people, and also there's an old man who is using time travel to duplicate himself 13 different times. Alright? Get on my level. Okay. To save some of my sanity, let's just do a really quick, lightning fast recap of the little bits of cohesiveness that this game has. Sora and Riku are venturing to Sleeping Worlds to train and become Keyblade Masters. Meanwhile, all members of Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts 2 are now back to being normal people again. Axel decides to help out the good guys instead of being a bad guy in the organization. Once Sora and Riku help all the Sleeping Worlds, they end up in the final world from Kingdom Hearts 2 where Ansem, Xemnas, and Xehanort are waiting for him and they try to take control of Sora. Axel and Riku save Sora. Axel gives the ability to wield the Keyblade, and Kairi comes in at the end to hint that she is going to become a Keyblade wielder as well. Okay, you got that? Good, because all of this here is setting up Kingdom Hearts 3. But we can't just jump into Kingdom Hearts 3 next, because there are some releases we need to talk about beforehand. After Dream Drop Distance, I guess Square Enix realized how absurd it's been requiring the fandom of Kingdom Hearts to own multiple systems in order to play all their mandatory games to understand the story, so they started releasing remasters of the games on the PlayStation 3. When you have a series that is very narrative driven and it's required that you play each of the games in order for it to make sense, it's pretty important that you make those games as widely available as possible, and re-releasing them for newer hardware makes the most sense. And this is when they finally started doing that. Each one contains 2 games from the series and a third game that is summarized in a long movie consisting of HD versions of the cutscenes from said game. In 1.5 Remix, you have the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 1, the cutscene movie of 358 over 2 days, and Chain of Memories. Something I didn't mention before is that Chain of Memories was remade for the PlayStation 2 under the name Chain of Memories. This one took the 2D style game from the Game Boy Advance and made it into a full 3D replica of that game to the PlayStation 2. There may be some differences in the story between this one and the Game Boy one, but I wouldn't know, because I just refuse to ever play this game again. Yeah, I know that I've been dunking on Chain of Memories a lot, and people are going to be wondering why I hate it so much, but explaining why would require its own video, and making a video about it would require me to, actually play it again, and I don't want to do that. But I do want to see some of the cutscenes remastered in HD with voice acting and everything.
No, I refuse to lose. There's such a bunch of losers.
Oh man, I swear the voice acting and the character animation just keeps getting worse with each new title. 2.5 Remix has Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and HD cinematic cutscenes for Recoded. So instead of this, you get this.
Mickey! It's Riku! They put bugs in him!
What? That line will never not be iconic. These are the definitive way to play these games though, since the games are now HD and they updated a lot of the controls and mechanics that made these games way less frustrating to play. But there is a bit more to these than just remastered old games. New collectibles, boss fights, and cutscenes were added to these remasters to trick you into thinking that this series was all planned to be connected from the start. In Kingdom Hearts 1, they added more Ansem reports for you to gather that shoehorn in explanations on how Ansem is actually Xehanort and not Ansem, trying desperately to fill the plot holes that they created. In the new cutscenes they added, the voice actors for the characters had aged a lot since their roles in 2002, so they couldn't just record new lines for the characters for the new cutscenes, so they play in really loud music and just put in subtitles. But yes, if you want to have the fully connected version of the Kingdom Hearts lore, you need to play these versions of the games and not the originals. That would be everything to say about the remixes, but there is one in particular that needs to be talked about further, and that's Kingdom Hearts HD Roman numeral 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. What a name. This has Dream Drop Distance playable in HD on the PlayStation, but it also contains 2 Kingdom Hearts entries that you can't find anywhere else. One of them I'm going to save later for when I talk about Kingdom Hearts 3, and the other is... This is Kingdom Hearts Kai back cover. This is an HD cinematic recreation of the story of a Kingdom Hearts Flash game that is now no longer available to play. Do you guys feel a sense of arrogance in the fact that every single thing this series ever puts out is mandatory to understanding the plot with each new game? Like, what story could you possibly be telling is so important that there is no room for any mindless fun that doesn't need to be connected in every single way? Yeah, we're making this Flash game mandatory. What of it? We're Kingdom Hearts. You should be spending every moment of your life dedicated to understanding this incredible story. If you don't have that kind of time, well, you can just leave. We don't need you. We're Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is not a game. It's a lifestyle. Give me a break. Just like 358 over 2 days and Recoded in their remixed versions, this is nothing more than an HD cutscene put together to make a movie, and it may just be my least favorite entry in this series for its story alone. It's not as nonsensical as Recoded or Dream Drop Distance, but the characters are so unlikable that it's infuriating to watch. Everything takes place in ancient times before the Great Keyblade War. This is the Master of Masters. No, I don't know why he's in an Organization 13 cloak, and quite frankly, I'd rather not know, because what I do know is that whatever reason they come up with for him being in an Organization 13 cloak is going to be incredibly stupid. Now, don't be fooled by this character's name, because he is not a Master of Masters. He's not an all-knowing, compassionate master. He is the epitome of a snarky teenager. He takes nothing seriously and messes around with his followers constantly. He's seen the future and knows that the Great Keyblade War is going to happen, and what does he tell his followers?
Isn't it our duty as Keyblade wielders to prevent this war from taking place?
Not possible.
Really? Do you not realize how that's going to weigh on everyone? Like, he's basically telling these people that the world is going to end for them, and he just laughs it off and says, don't worry about it. But no. Oh no. Why is Master Xehanort's Keyblade here? What are they going to explain with that? Only in Kingdom Hearts, man. In any other series, if I saw references to other entries, I'd get really excited. But with Kingdom Hearts, I'm filled with despair, because I don't want them to explain why the reference is there and why it makes everything connected. Whatever it is, I know it's going to be stupid. Anyway, of all the characters, the worst one of all is this guy. His name is spelled Aced, A-C-E-D, but it's actually pronounced Aced, and he sucks. He is constantly angry, he doesn't take orders well, which leads him to constantly go against what people tell him to do, and when things go wrong because he doesn't do what he's told, he gets mad at everyone else. He fights with everyone all the time, but once he's cornered, he's suddenly like,
I guess that's one of the reasons I respect you so much.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say, you absolute clown. This story's supposed to be a tragedy, kind of like what Birth by Sleep was going for, where you see everything collapse in front of our main characters as they desperately try to prevent bad things from happening. But it's hard to feel bad for them when everyone is a snake towards each other because of this moron and what he tells them. I am convinced that the Master of Masters is actually the villain, and is just messing with everyone's minds because he finds the destruction of humanity amusing for some twisted reason. Everything he tells them makes them second guess themselves and betray each other. The only character I like in this game is this girl, Ava. She's the only one who sticks with her own moral compass and does things because it's what she believes is right. I think the only reason that the Keyblade War happened is because the Master of Masters said it would happen. I think if he just said nothing at all, then the war would have never started, and none of this would have needed to happen. I really like the design of the characters, and I love the atmosphere of medieval time villages and the idea of trying to prevent the inevitable. It's a good concept, but it doesn't work when your characters suck and can't carry the narrative. One of the characters is named Luciu, who is also dressed in an organization cloak. He's given a task of hiding this black chest which holds something important, and this Keyblade. The eye in this Keyblade is how the Master of Masters sees the future, and Luciu needs to carry it throughout time so that the Master can see what happens and tell everyone in their present time. It ends with Luciu staring out on his journey. Okay. We are getting close to the end of this journey. Up next is the big kicker, the game that they've been leading up to for years. None other than... I'm going to bunch the third game from the final chapter prologue into Kingdom Hearts 3 because I am certain that this was supposed to be an opening chapter, kind of like how Roxas was in Kingdom Hearts 2, but then decided to release it as a separate game as a little tech demo just to give people something while Kingdom Hearts 3 was being made. This game being Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2, A Fragmentary Passage. Yeah. So this game is really short. You can beat it in a little over an hour. This is about Aqua's time in the Dark World from when she fell in the original Birth by Sleep. I have to say, this is a massive upgrade for Kingdom Hearts. The animations and the voice acting have improved immensely. It kind of made me realize just how stagnant Kingdom Hearts has been, relying on the same PS2 style graphics for so long. Fragmentary Passage actually takes place during the finale of Kingdom Hearts 1. Aqua is traveling through the Dark World, slowly losing her mind and questioning if it's worth trying to keep moving forward and fight. You'll see her lose her morale throughout the game. She eventually comes across Mickey, where they search for the Keyblade of the Dark Realm to seal the door to darkness. The end of the game is the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1, just on the other side of the door. But what I find really funny is how in the original Kingdom Hearts, Mickey's design was more reminiscent of his classic cartoon style, but then got more of a detailed design as the series went on. But in this game, they literally have a scene that explains why Mickey doesn't have his shirt on when he seals the door to darkness. They show him getting his shirt ripped off and then hurrying and grabbing the Dark World Keyblade while Aqua is being carried away as a way of saying that's why Mickey didn't have his shirt on in the first game. Yeah, that's exactly what we needed explained. I'm glad they have their priorities straight at least. The ending cutscene for Fragmentary Passage is literally the opening cutscene to Kingdom Hearts 3, which furthers my reason for me believing that this game was originally supposed to be part of Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 honestly just felt like a breath of fresh air for me. It kind of felt like I was playing Kingdom Hearts 1 again. It felt like Kingdom Hearts was ready to turn over a new leaf.
Darkness is the heart's true nature.
Whatever you're talking about, I don't care.
Ugh, finally, someone is speaking some sense in this franchise. This is the game where everything starts to get tied together. All the branching paths that were set up in previous installments are now converging into one line. I do have to give them credit on wanting to streamline everything together, but you have to realize what they're trying to tie together. So while they are trying their best for things to make sense in this game, it's pretty much a hopeless task. But now you actually have more of an emphasis on Disney. While it's not perfect, the Disney worlds do seem to play much more of an important role in the overall plot, and it gives you great moments like this.
Over here, Sully!
You know, no matter how long Kingdom Hearts lasts for, they are going to continually make legendary moments like this forever. One of the main objectives in the story is that the Keyblade Masters from Birth by Sleep need to be found again, but not only that, Roxas and Xion are brought back, and all other members of the organization are revived as well. Every single person who has died in Kingdom Hearts up to this point is brought back in Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, except for Master Ericus, but no one likes Master Ericus, so that's not much of a loss. But does death not mean anything then? All those moments of loss in previous games are kind of nullified now that we just bring them back as we please. So now if someone dies later on, we don't have to feel sad because they can just come back? Plus, while I said it felt like Kingdom Hearts was turning over a new leaf, all of that goes out the window once you get to the end of the game. That's when it gets to classic Kingdom Hearts gibberish nonsense.
Today, we join these other wielders and leave our mark on fate.
Can you, shut up?
I have waited patiently.
Man, this dude really loves to listen to himself talk, doesn't he?
We shall
really.
the Keyblade.
What are they even talking about anyways? Probably something about how he wants to touch girls or something. Oh yeah. I always thought he was saying something about darkness and stuff. Alone with girls in the dark.
We forge it. The ultimate key.
He's still talking. Still talking.
At this point in Kingdom Hearts 3, Xehanort wants Sora to fight the new Organization 13 members because doing so creates 13 different Keyblades of his own that he can turn into the Kai Blade to summon Kingdom Hearts. Let me ask a completely reasonable question here. What was Xehanort's master plan? Okay, because it seems to change every single game. First, he wanted to have Ventus create the Kai Blade to summon Kingdom Hearts. Then, when he's a Heartless, he wants to open the door to darkness to summon Kingdom Hearts. Then in Kingdom Hearts 2, as a nobody, he wants to create an imitation Kingdom Hearts to access the power of Kingdom Hearts. Then, once he rejoins, he wants 13 different versions of himself to summon Kingdom Hearts, which he tries to make Sora a copy of himself, and now he's saying that making Sora fight the new Organization 13 members will allow him to summon Kingdom Hearts? What is his plan? As far as I know, he doesn't have a plan. plan. He just keeps changing it as time goes on and just so happens to work? Anyway, this is where Master Xehanort is finally defeated. After all this time playing through the series of Kingdom Hearts with this dude pulling the strings the entire way, it's finally time to put him in his place. Xehanort is defeated and all worlds are saved. Or are they?
Do you think your quest will ever be over?
One thing that Xehanort does is he murders Kairi in order to make Sora angry to fight him, but as we all know, death doesn't matter in Kingdom Hearts. At the end, they hint at how Sora is going to find a way to bring Kairi back. This is where you realize that they made DLC for this game, and don't you dare ask if it's mandatory or not, okay? You should already know the answer by now. The extra chapter involves you as Sora rescuing Kairi and sealing away Kingdom Hearts for good, but you play through the same events as at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 base game. That's because in order to rescue Kairi, Sora has to time travel to rescue her from the past, except she still dies anyway, and he rescues her another way, which doing so does rescue Kairi, but it also causes Sora to disappear and then become lost. Now nobody knows where Sora could be, which is where they leave us hanging for the future of Kingdom Hearts. I thought things were finally coming together. I thought that Kingdom Hearts was done just pulling things out of their pants just for an excuse to keep the story going.
Do you think your quest will ever be over?
But nope, glad to see that nothing has changed. Well, this is where we're left for the future and where Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to pick up from. What just happened? Wait, hold up. I know this game. This was that Kingdom Hearts rhythm game that came out in 2020, which honestly was a smart move. If there's anything that Kingdom Hearts does phenomenally, it's the music, and I will defend it for that. Making a rhythm game as a spin-off sounds like a great idea, and that's all it is, right? A spin-off? I mean, it's a completely different style of gameplay from every other Kingdom Hearts game. They've all been RPGs, and this one's a rhythm game. It's just to allow you to appreciate the music to the series, so this has to be a spin-off, right? Let's see. Experience the music of Kingdom Hearts like never before. Yeah, like I said, having an entry to focus on the soundtrack is a good idea. Over 140 musical tracks and 20 characters. Nice, it seems like they're including everyone's favorites then. Play solo, together in co-op, or battle online in multiplayer. Oh, there's an online compatibility, and that's not bad. Embark on the story of Kingdom Hearts, including an all-new chapter? Oh, come on!
Do you think your quest will ever be over?
Mandatory rhythm game to know the whole story. Mandatory rhythm game to know the whole story. Oh, I'll play your stupid little rhythm game. I can't believe this. There. Done. Okay, so this game mostly just summarizes the entire story of Kingdom Hearts up until now. However, unlike the other recap games, you don't actually have to have played the other games for this recap to make any sense. Plus, it's a throwback to all of Kingdom Hearts worlds, not just the first Kingdom Hearts. This game also does a way better job at explaining the plot to many of the games than the games did themselves. I cannot tell you how many times playing through Melody of Memory I went, oh, that's what was going on. Anyway, everything is just summary of what we've already experienced up until this point, until the very end where the whole new chapter bit comes into play. Kairi wakes up to find Xehanort and makes one last confrontation with him. There's a flashback cutscene to when Kairi was a child running away from what looks like Terra Xehanort, who...
Probably something about how he wants to touch girls or something.
Oh dear. Things get revealed and they find out that the way to find Sora is to not look into this reality, but...
the other side of our world. Of reality. Unreality. A fictional world.
Considering that this is a series that brings together fictional stories in collaboration with one another, I'm not sure I want to know what a fictional world would be for them. They may just be implying that they are sending Sora to our reality, like the universe that you and me are living in right now, because to them we're a fictional world or something. I was going to say that I really hope that Kingdom Hearts doesn't actually try to do this, but really, what's stopping them? This is on par with all the other stupid crap they've been doing this whole time. Why shouldn't they tackle another convoluted story element that's killed off other franchises before? They've been doing it for 10 games now. Darkness. Darkness, 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 darkness. Dude, are you okay? Probably not. So, what do I think is going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 4? Honestly, I have no clue. If there is anything that Kingdom Hearts has made perfectly clear, it's that literally anything can happen. There are no rules in Kingdom Hearts, and whatever they come up with is just going to be scrapped and retconned for Kingdom Hearts 5 or whatever else they decide to do next. Now, there is a possibility that things will get better from here on out with the storytelling, but does it really matter anymore? In order to play the new Kingdom Hearts games that are going to come out from here on out, you have to play through all of the ones leading up to it. So even if the new game has amazing storytelling, you have to get through the BS that is the first 10 games that we had just talked about. And I think it's starting to show in the Kingdom Hearts sales. The best performing game was the original Kingdom Hearts back on the PlayStation 2. Ever since then, Kingdom Hearts has had a declining player base, and after all I've seen, it's not outrageous to conclude that the storytelling might be what's killing it. It's already intimidating enough to know that you have to play through 10 whole games just to be up to speed with the new one, but throw in the fact that it's one of the most confusing train wrecks you'll ever experience with storytelling, it's no wonder people aren't as interested in getting to know Kingdom Hearts these days. All they have left are fans who have been through with them since the beginning, and I know that even they're starting to feel burnt with all the nonsense they're willing to keep pulling out of a hat. What I think Kingdom Hearts should do, not that they will, and I'm not saying that to criticize Square Enix for being a company that doesn't listen to criticism. Like, I'm a single person online who draws a cartoon character over and over and over again, okay? I'm literally a nobody to them. More specifically, Sarah Tax Argott. What I think they should do is end the current Kingdom Hearts. No, I don't want Kingdom Hearts to go away forever. That's not what I'm suggesting. I think they should hurry up and wrap the current story that they're trying to tell and then reboot the series. Start over brand new with new writers and actually try this time. Can you imagine if an upcoming announcement of a brand new Kingdom Hearts was revealed on PS5 and they say that it isn't a game that you need to have played the previous games to understand? It's a brand new adventure taking advantage of some of the new properties that Disney has put out recently? That would be awesome. But realistically, it's not going to happen. Nowadays, Disney is such a massive powerhouse of a company that getting them to budge for anything is practically impossible. I don't know if it's Disney's fault or Square Enix's fault that the Kingdom Hearts story is the way it is, but I don't think removing Disney from the equation is the answer. Again, I will reiterate that it's just a rumor that they're getting rid of the new Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts, and I really hope it's not true. It's the one thing giving this series charm anymore. Without it, you have nothing but a mess of a storyline. It would definitely suck for Tetsuya Nomura to start all over again from the beginning and spend more years to just rebuild the story he's been trying to tell thus far, but I do believe that it would benefit the franchise. Sometimes burning a field is the best way for a new age of crops to grow. Darkness. Oh no. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, let's try this one last game. Okay? Wait. These are scenes that have already happened. Nothing seems to be new here. Is this just a game where you get to experience famous moments of the series in VR? I found the